Hi everyone, we're back here at SGTV with Nick Bundy. So Nick, we're going to be talking about safety at work, health and safety. I suppose it either is a big deal to some people on site or it's incredibly not. So what's your experience of sort of safety at work?
When I did my level 3 and I was working on a big building site, yeah, it was very strict. We had health and safety walking around all the time, hard hats. But luckily enough, we only had to wear gloves. I know there's a few sites now where you have to wear goggles religiously, obviously high vis, boots, that sort of stuff. That was extreme, like very extreme. People were being chucked off the site quite often, to be honest, with them walking around because people weren't wearing the right PPE or they were doing something they shouldn't be doing. I sort of stay out of the way, just do as you're told as a young lad, sort of thing. But then going on to the domestic side, we're working with a few of the sparks. It didn't really exist. Personally, that's what I found. You know, I wasn't employed by these people, so, you know, there was no health and safety put into procedure. It was just usually common sense, really. But I can see common sense going out the window with a few people if they don't know what they need to do.
Yeah. Is it something you've witnessed much before from being on site?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say just with electricians, but like with any tradesman. So you normal bricky labourers where they're wearing tracky bottoms to work, they're not wearing gloves, they're mixing cement without any masks on, no goggles. Like, you can look at it and go, that's not good. If there was a health and safety executive on site, let's say, then if it was a public site, should we say, not just a domestic dwelling, yeah, that wouldn't have gone down well. But then you've got self-employed sparks like me who go into people's houses. I can take the right precautions. You know, I've got my locking off kits. I can make everything safe electrical wise. But then at the same time, you're lifting floorboards up. If the customer's at home, where do you stand with that? I don't mind to put barriers up, signs up. I don't. I just tell the customer the floorboards up, just be careful. But then you could easily lose track of that and the customer falls down one and I'm then liable. So, but then vice versa, I could then trip up them, or you got the floorboards up with the nail sticking out. There's so many things that you can look at as a potential hazard or a risk.
It's almost difficult to sort of say, where do you start,
exactly.
Where do you stop?
Yeah, you know, if you start going crazy and ticking every box that you should be for health and safety, you would never get any work done, ever. You spend more time filling out pieces of paper than actually doing anything. So yes, it's strict, but at the same time, I probably don't have as much knowledge in it because I've gone self-employed at such a young age and I've just stayed by myself and that's it, really. I know things are going to change when I take my apprentice on properly. I'll have to go on a course, or he'll have to go on a course, and we'll have to get something set up in the system of this is the way things are meant to be done.
What sort of courses are there available for someone like you taking on an apprentice?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've just been told in the pipeline when he gets signed on, we will be then told by his local college, who is going to be the assessor for his apprenticeship, that this needs to be ticked, this box needs to be done, this needs to be done. So I will just take all the guidance that they give me, sort of thing. So right now, I have no idea. I should have looked into it, but we're still a good couple of months off yet. So.
Yeah. I suppose a lot of people who are working for a company, or you know, they're on a big job. They're going to be almost forced into, you know, PPE, health and safety, doing everything by the book. But do you think, I mean, like you say, you're taking sort of common sense, really, approach when you're doing it. But do you think there are guys out there, perhaps aren't, who are just
with
working
no common
for themselves?
Sense? Yeah. I mean, I know quite a few people, very smart people. There's no common sense. That's my personal opinion. And
surely that's only going to
end badly,
bite them one day.
Yeah, I know a lot of electricians that don't even own a locking off kit, and that's like one of the key things. What you're meant to have on your assessments, proving you locking off kit, and you know, you show it to them. Yeah, brilliant. How do you use it? Because obviously there's different fuse boards types, breakers, this sort of stuff. So that's used religiously for me, especially more now. I've got someone else on the tools with me. You know, it only takes one customer. I had it years ago, customer turnaround, and elderly lady, didn't expect it. Fuse board was low level in her utility room. She wanted me to change all the socket fronts over. So I said, yeah, no problem at all. This was back way in the when I never really used my locking off kit properly. And I'm changing the faceplates over, and she all of a sudden asked me if I want a cup of tea. I said, no, I'm all right, thank you. Didn't even think about it, because most of the time, if a customer says, oh, do you want a cup of tea? You just then giggle and wait for them to try and turn it on because the power's not on. And then they'll go, oh yeah, I forgot the power's off, and you have a laugh and joke. I mean, it's happened hundreds of times now. But she then went, oh, my power's off, because she'd got a kettle plugged in her kitchen, in her lounge, sorry, and she went and turned the breaker back on with me changing the sockets. and I wasn't connected through to it. I just caught the live and hurt my finger a bit, and it is what it is. The whole situation could have been avoided if I'd used my lock and off kit properly, and it could have ended very badly if, let's say, I was holding live and neutral at the same time. So yeah, there's potential risks out there that you try and minimize as best you can, being as sensible as you can with common, knowledge that you have of the industry. But sometimes you just can't avoid some things. Some things are just pure accident.
Yeah. Have you seen any bad examples where people have,
they're
working for themselves and
fallen through loft? I fell out of loft hatch. This must have been last year. I did my bottom of back in. It didn't take too long to recover.
Did you bounce?
No, well, my step ladders were below. I know a lot of people say you should have the full rung ladder out, so you're positioned on it, but mine was just step ladders. I'm a tall guy, so I don't even have to stand on the top run. I could just pull myself up, and the bathroom fit had moved my ladder slightly. As he'd gone past the hallway, moved him out. He didn't tell me. I didn't even know if he was in the loft. I jumped down, missed, and as I fell, the ladder flipped sideways, and then I landed on my back on the side of the ladder, which hurt quite a lot, but it could have ended up very badly. I could have broke my back, I could have been out of work. It would have been bad. But then the situation to look at that and go, maybe I should have got a normal, proper ladder, tied it to the framework, because you're meant to get little bolts now you can clip in like they do with the Skymen on the outside of your houses. They drill into the brickwork or the render, which I do think bit over the top, but then if it saves someone's life or someone's livelihood, then it makes sense to do it. Until it's nearly happened to you or happened to you, you don't see the point in it. Yeah. To be honest.
I mean, if you do, if something like that did happen and you break your back falling out of a loft, for example, and you're out of work, what can you do? Are there any sort of insurances that you can take that are going to protect you against that? Are you liable? Is it the customer liable? Obviously, you don't want to be suing your customers or anything like that. Where do you stand at that point?
Liability-wise, no idea. I've got 2 lots of insurances, business insurances. So if something were to happen to me at work, they would then kick in. I think it's a month after, so you'd miss a month, and then you'd get paid X amount per. I think it's per how much I earn for the year. They take a percentage. I'm not quite sure. I've never had to go through it, so I don't really know. I just know I pay a fair bit for this insurance. Worst case scenario, I pay the mortgage on the house and most of the bills. So if I was to stop working instantly, we'd just wave bye to the house. If these insurances weren't there. Liability-wise, I would have no clue. My fault, their fault. If it's something as simple as the customer reversed the car into the ladder when I was at the top of it, you'd expect it to be their fault. But if the ladder slipped when I was at the top, it's my fault if I've not used all the precautions to save myself, should we say. Yeah.
So, I mean, really, I suppose a lot of people, they almost joke about health and safety. And I think we can all agree it can be a bit over the top at times, but at the same time, it is there to protect people like yourself who are working for yourself, trying to make a living for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you look at just road traffic accidents where the speed camera, they'll only ever put a speed camera up when, let's say, X amount of people have seriously crashed or died. Most of the time, if anything's been put in situations, because that's already happened before to someone, and they're trying to protect you from that happening to someone else, which I get to a degree. I do. If it saves someone's life, it's worth it. But then there's so many things now involved with walking around with gloves on and goggles on. This is main building sites, so not for myself, but they've gone a bit OTT, but
it's a lot to
where do you stop?
Where
do you stop? Are we going to start, wrapping people in bubble wrap when they go into, building sites and this, that, and when does it start obstructing you working? Because not with gloves with Electrician, if I wear like some of the latex gloves, they're very thin gloves if I'm in lofts and whatnot, which I can still get my fingers in fuse boards and screws and tight small spaces. But when they're starting to tell you to wear fabric ones, you lose the feeling as much in your fingers and you're not be able to work as well, in my eyes. So it's all there for a reason. Do you need it all? In my opinion, no, but that's from a domestic point of view, not a commercial. Might be completely different for them guys.
Yeah. So for you guys out there watching, I hope you found that useful, and just look after yourself. Like we say, it might seem over the top, but it's there to protect you. Yeah. Right then, thank you for watching, everyone.